This is Stars and Scopes with your pal Uma Ruby. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, do listen to your rising sign first if you know it, but do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're loving this work and you've got some coins to spare, throw them in the tin over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and you can buy me a coffee. Okay, let's drop into it. Hello Aries and Aries rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the full moon in Sagittarius, happening on June the 14th at 9:52 p.m. if you're using Australian Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to your reading. This is exciting. This is a great lunation. This is a full moon. Oh, happy Pride, by the way. I think that it's lovely that we're experiencing June globally as Pride Month and we all get to wear our best selves on our chests. Just wanted to say that. It's sort of why I dolled up today as well in my Julia Roberts Sandra Bullock hybrid and have added a video component to these readings. So if you're listening on Spotify, head over to YouTube if you wanted to watch me do the reading. Doesn't come without its difficulties though. I'm trying very hard to maintain all of the different components. This desk is a mess. Anyhow, this full moon is, as I said, the great time to work with the moon's energy after we've experienced all of the stuff we were experiencing in eclipse season. This one is one that we actively have a say and presence in, and we can enjoy her. We can go out and look and feel the glow and really let go of what it is that we need to in our lives to move forward from here. For you, Sagittarius rules your 9th house. That's a great space to let some things go because there's a lot of expectations stacked up in the 9th. The 9th talks about publishing and philosophy and spirituality and teaching and learning and travel. So it's the house of mind expansion. It's a fire sign as well as you are, and it's kind of reaching that point in the experience of, absorbing the mysteries of the world and kind of, either reading about them or writing about them. And traveling to expand the mind, that kind of stuff. Great house to sort of let go some of the expectations that you may have had around those areas, or to celebrate what you've achieved in that part of your life too. The full moon's a great time to raise a glass and congratulate yourself, Eddie, for getting it done. So I wanted to, I've got all my tarot cards here that I pulled out prior that talk about the specific degrees in the sky, in the zodiac, that this is all playing out in, because we do, unfortunately, have another difficult aspect with this one. It's another T-square, so another competing force. So we have the moon in Sagittarius, which is at 23 degrees, and then at 23 degrees in Gemini, we have the sun, making that beautiful, lunation. But then they're in combat, sort of, with Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune is at 25 degrees in Pisces. I've mentioned them quite a lot this year because they've just been so, generous and bountiful. It's been a really positive energy to have Neptune in Pisces. And they've made some great collaborations and aspects with different planets. Unfortunately, a square is a fight for righteousness or a fight for supremacy. It's sort of like, it's a moment of, don't forget about me, is the kind of vibe. So for Neptune, which is the great illusionist in terms of energies for a planet, it's the magician, it's the one that can, sort of move mountains. If you think about, Neptune, think about the king of the ocean, think about all of the mysteries that kind of mythology brings about for you in your mind. What does that look like in a lower vibration? What does that look like in combat or in difficulty? It's delusion. It's the wool being pulled over one's eyes and kind of setting things aside and maybe not dealing with them and sort of being like, no, she'll be right. So This is interesting to talk about because Pisces, we've spoken about before, rules your 12th house, which is the unconscious. It's dreamland. It's the complete vast chasms of our experience that we just can't put into words because they're so deep and vast and traverse, dimensions, all of that kind of stuff. Your dreamland is so bountiful and you're very intuitive in that space. So what's Neptune trying to tell you in there? Is there something in your dreams that you've been ignoring? Is there something in your dreams that is just that? It's just dreams, and it's not going to manifest in this space, this physical space. Maybe it's time to let that go. If we tie in the 12th house energy with the 9th house energy, the 9th is the sort of practice, is the kind of formalization of the 12th. So sort of like, it's the study in some ways. What can you let go of in 12th, in dream state, that is just full of hot air? Or what is the 12th house trying to tell you, and it won't shut up, and you need to listen, and it's affecting your travel plans or your next course of study, your next adventure. So I've got the tarot cards here for all of that. So at 23 degrees in Sagittarius, we have the tarot card, the 10 of Wands. Now, every card has a spot in the zodiac. I've spoken about this before, but it's fascinating to do a reading that's just sort of really cut and dry, because there's a lot of great energy to work with here. There's lots of messages. 10 of Wands talks about that moment of just being completely exhausted. It's almost like, if thinking about 9th house, thinking about study and travel and vitality, 10 of Wands is sort of like, are we there yet? I'm done. I'm done with this spiritual quest, with this search for knowledge. I'm exhausted. I want to put my feet up and have a Tim Tam. That's that energy. That's in relation to the moon. So if there's things around that for you, it might be a nice time to converse with the moon on that, to get you back into a state of vitality. The sun is at 10 degrees of Gemini. Oh, that's the 10 of Swords. I tell you what, I don't even know why I'm picking them up, because I'm just picking up the wrong cards. They're all splayed here. Okay, so that's the other side. That's 10 of Wands, if you can see. I mean, these ones are just sort of graphic with the astrological placements, so, but look at them though. They're nice to look at. The 10 of Swords is in Gemini, at 23 degrees of Gemini. 10 of Swords is much more difficult energy than the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is exhaustion. 10 of Swords is anxiety. 10 of Swords is like the end of a really difficult mental cycle. It's defeat of the mind in a lot of ways. I hope that this is something that you're not directly working with at the moment. If you are, I really feel you and I empathize with you, and know that you have access to help during this. I wonder if there's something in here that is to do with the mentality, the truth. It's to do with versions of the truth, and it's to do with the right way to do things. I say that because the sun in this position at 10 of Swords is actually in a really supportive aspect with Saturn, which is at the 7 of Swords, which is at 25 degrees in Aquarius, over to the next bit of air. So they're working in harmony together, the Sun and Saturn this time. Saturn's been quite difficult for us lately as far as like the gag order and rules and regulations. But this is kind of, because you're in Aries, the rule book ain't so interesting to you. But that doesn't discount your integrity. You're an incredible learner, and you're incredibly wise in the way that you go about doing things. Like you'd love to, you skip to the end is sort of an energy with Aries oftentimes, which is not bad. And in this way, Saturn is encouraging you to to really break open your rule book and break open your understanding of the methods of how we go about doing things. Maybe in relation to some of this ninth house stuff, maybe in relationship to your travel plans or lack of, because it's been so difficult lately. It's been near impossible to go anywhere until now. Things are opening up now, and maybe you feel unprepared by that. I'm saying a lot, but the messages that you need, they'll ring for you. Also, the moon is in a great aspect with Mars in your first house, and Mars couldn't be happier in Aries. We've talked about this before, but that's the sort of passion driver. That's the one that's really getting this show on the road. So this is why I talk about the rule book being, a movable notion. What are you wanting to charge ahead with on your soul level? Like where do you want to go? This is the Three of Wands. So this is staring out into, middle distance, and, the plan's been made, and so now we prepare. That's the Three of Wands. So what does that mean for you? In what part of your life does that resonate? Is it to do with your spirituality? It could be. It could be to do with ninth house stuff. It could be to do with travel, quite literally, That's that. The delusion I wanted to talk about, so Neptune's at 25 degrees of Pisces. The tarot card for that is the 10 of Cups, so another end of a cycle. This one's an emotional cycle, so this card, another middle distance moment, but it's the lovers standing on the mountaintop with the rainbow above them and the children playing in the background, the sound of soft violin, a picture of Manhattans chilling on the garden furniture. It's bullshit is what it is. If we talk about delusion and Neptune's, low vibration of delusion, the 10 of Cups is a very deluded card. There is no ending to these things. There is no, and then what? The credits don't roll in this life. So when it comes to emotional fulfillment, when it comes to spirit bonds and love and things like that, you don't want there to be the credits rolling up, because things end. Absolutely they do. Nature is a cycle, you know what I mean? But this card in its low vibration says, well, and then what? So how can you relate that to your dreamscape? What are you maybe lamenting of, or you're thinking about something that's gone, or you're thinking about something that you have, but kind of, it's sort of like, and then what? It could work in a couple of different ways, but really even just the sentiment of emotional fulfillment, and that being a delusion, that's something to really work with at this full moon, and to really let some of that go back to Luna, because the messages in your dreams are completely valid, and you're in Aries, so like you could, write a book. But what is trying to weasel its way back in there that doesn't need to be there? That could be a way of thinking about it, or thinking about it as like a fresh new cycle. It's sort of like these emotional bonds that we share with people are bountiful, and they come and they go, and they come and they go, and they arrive and they depart, and they arrive and they depart. Like that could be something. There's no delusion there. The delusion is, and then we were happily ever after. That's the delusion. That's something to walk away from and give back to the moon. So that's that. So that's the sky. I've spoken about everything there. That's great. I'm going to pull you some intuitive tarot cards now. I'm going to use this deck. Okay, Spirit. So how can you caveat? How can you cap off what's happening in the sky for Aries? What are your final thoughts on the matter for this lunation? What do you want, Aries? What are you encouraging Aries to give back to you, and to let go of? Whoops. Well, I'll take them. Why not? Okay, so Two of Wands, Mars in Aries. This is that passion. Remember that stage we talked about it 2 weeks ago. But there's something that you're scheming. There's a journey that needs to be planned and mapped out. There's that way or that way. Pick a way, pick a lane, and start making traction, because Mars is now at the Three of Wands in the zodiac. So that energy is really building for you, Aries. It's really positive. It's all to do with your soul purpose. If you're an Aries rising, this is all to do with your soul mission. So this is exciting stuff. Four of Pentacles, like let go, is what this card says to me in this particular reading. I mean, Aries are pretty good at letting go, I will say, but it depends on other aspects in your chart as well. There could be elements of control that you're having difficulty with, or you have difficulty letting go of something. This is, you know, it's a card of frugality. It's sometimes a card of hanging on, but I really see this as a invitation, particularly at the moon, the full moon, to let it go. Just really let it go, whatever it is that is popping up in your radar as I say that to you. There's an energy around you. She's the Queen of Cups. She sits there on her throne and she has time and a day to listen to you. There's someone near you right now that you can reach out to at the drop of a hat and will listen to you until you're finished. So this is something that can help you work with some of this harder stuff. If you are experiencing some Ten of Swords energy, if you're experiencing the Ten of Wands, if there isn't a real exhaustion that you're feeling, or sort of like a, you know, in that delusion, Ten of Cups, what next? Like what now? Like where are the credits? Oh, I don't know what to do. If that's how you're feeling, seek out this Queen of Cups, because she's got all the time in the world for you and she's close by to you. I can sense that there's something near you. That could be, doesn't have to be physically, that could be energetically, but there's, you know, there's something there. Could be in dreams as well, you know, cups, water, 12th house. That's enough. That's a nice reading, Aries. That's a really good Sagittarius full moon for you. Exciting stuff, regenerative, restorative stuff after the chaos of eclipse season, particularly if you are feeling yourself the pull to a more spiritual sort of line of study, then, you know, do it. That's what the moon's saying. Tell her your anxieties. If you're thinking you're not smart enough, or you're thinking whatever it is, all the rubbish that sometimes can run through a person's head, tell it to the moon or tell it to the Queen of Cups. Both will listen. All right, Aries, that's enough from me. Full moon blessings. If you'd like to head to my website, I've just published a whole bunch of specific readings for the elements. I'm really looking forward to exploring more with them. They've been great so far. Really great stuff comes from them. It's a form of reading that I've incorporated the tarot and reading your birth chart, so we can look at the planetary aspects and what tarot cards correlate with them and start building the story together. It's really, really lovely, exciting work that I'm looking forward to doing more of. You can tip me over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby if you'd like to tip this waitress. Other than that, I'll see you in 2 weeks for the new moon in Cancer and some beautiful emotional body manifestation. Time to call in some loving heart space action. It's going to be great. Until then, I love you very much and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.